This year, choose a yogurt that's right for you. With 2 grams of sugar per 5.3-ounce serving, Too Good Greek yogurt is too good to be true. So Delicious dairy-free yogurt and Silk yogurt alternatives are delicious plant-based swaps you can enjoy by the spoon or add to recipes. Oikos 000 yogurt and Light and Fit yogurt are tasty, non-fat yogurt options. So many flavors, varieties, and possibilities. Elevate any recipe and your everyday with yogurt. Shop at Target.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves, to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
I'm 7-0 this season.
You auto-drafted.
That's what all the great GMs do. They delegate.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah, I did. I set the cue.
Without fantasy football, what would friends talk about?
I almost wore shorts today.
Oh.
I was going to do a sweatshirt shorts combo. Switched to pants instead.
Armchair.
It all starts with just one thing. Glass jars can be reused to store food and spices, as a holder for combs and brushes in the bathroom, or as a container for plants and homemade candles, in addition to simply being recycled. Find tips and more at onethingus.com.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Get your Sunday football morning started off right with the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert, a 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football year long and your DFS payouts. your only true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, and your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Sundays, all NFL season long.
No.
Did you know that if you eat well and you exercise and you sleep well and you drink a lot of water, you still die?
Getting oral sex by an ugly person is like bungee jumping. You know it's gonna be fun, but don't look down.
Armchair.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
But what the hell, boy?
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Good morning. Armchair.
YouTube Live.
CBS Sports
Radio Station.
Station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station? It's everything.
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
I thought you were kidding! I thought it was a joke! I even wrote it down in my diary! Veronica had a very funny joke today! I laughed at it later that night!
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, the Armchair Quarterback Show. Your first choice for Southern Sports Talk. Good afternoon, Mr. Joey Areola.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here on a New Year's Eve with the college football playoff and exciting times, Mr. Mack. Can't wait to get into sports with a game going on right now. Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. I tried to get it where we were going on just as a going to halftime, but Bama scored too fast. So happy New Year, y'all. Let's get it going.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? Welcome to the Armchair Quarterbacks Radio Show. Mac McGee sitting alongside Joey Areola. Joey, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. You know, just this is the start of the New Year's Eve for me. We're getting into college games. First show at Mr. Tony. Congratulations to you, as it's been a while. I haven't been able to talk to you. I'm the kid, and let's get rolling. Can't wait.
Mr. Tony Aguilini, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I thought I'd pop on just for a few minutes and say Happy New Year, and appreciate you guys letting me spend the year with you. And thanks for the congratulations and everything.
I see you've already given up on the Gator football program, and you're now a baseball program.
Yeah, we took the dog for a walk, so this was my attire a little bit earlier today. But yeah, basketball was supposed to start Wednesday, got canceled for COVID. We host Alabama next Wednesday, which should be I guess a good way to open up SEC play. So we'll see there.
I gave up on paying attention to Florida State basketball. Every time I got excited for a game to come on, it got canceled because of COVID. I was like, you know what? I'll check it out after the new year. I'm done with it. I can't keep. I mean, this is like the nightmare that never ends with the damn games getting canceled for what is now basically just the common cold. And
it's weird. Everybody, just about all these kids were pretty much made to get vaccinated, especially the college program kids, and they're still testing whether you have symptoms or not. So, I mean, I'm with you on that. I kind of stopped the madness. It's, 11,000 fans can attend, but, one kid doesn't even have the sniffles, but he tests positive for COVID and the whole game gets canceled. It's weird. I've got other friends in the sports industry that work for different teams, and, hockey's going through it and all these other sports. It's ridiculous. But anyway, hopefully after New Year's, somebody will come to their senses and get this thing figured out as far as like who to test and when to test and all that kind of stuff.
I'm glad to see the NFL has loosened up their protocols. I still think they're a little too much. Where we're at right now, like for instance, Kirk Cousins is not going to play on Sunday.
The rule change was huge for the Colts because that made Carson Wentz be available Sunday. So I was very happy. But like you said, keep it going.
Is he absolutely going to play on Sunday?
He clears Sunday morning. Yes.
Gotcha. Of course, the other dangerous part about this is from the real world standpoint is they're going off of everyone's word now. Now, Kirk Cousins self-reported himself. But what's preventing for someone like, we'll just take Carson Wentz for example, because he's a dirty Colt. What if he's not feeling well, but he goes, no, I'm fine. I'm good. We're good. So that's the other part of it that's kind of strange.
They say basically they're like, your symptoms don't even have to be gone now. They just say as long as they're decreasing. So like you said, we're a lot of word of mouth happening with trusting people.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying it without saying it that they're getting rid of it. But before we get into anything else, and I'm gonna wait till this game hits the halftime mark, which is almost there to tackle this. What about that garbage ending in the Music City Bowl last night? What the hell was that? And look, Tennessee's my side girl, but I always pull for them, and I was pulling for them for two reasons last night. I put a bet on him just because I was going to pull for him anyways. And I just put him on the money line, so that cost me a little bit of coin right there. But that was a garbage ass ending to a great game, and that's the worst part about it is that's what everyone's going to remember. And Purdue got robbed of that too, because let's say Purdue goes on and wins that game, allowing the Tennessee touchdown, then it's going to be known as this great game, blah, blah, blah. Now, instead of an instant classic, it's always going to be known as the game where the ref gave it away.
Tony, if you wanted to say something, I was going to let you go there. But real quick, my point on it is, like, it was one of the most fun games. Every time I turned away from the screen at the place I was at, there was a touchdown being scored. Michigan State was going for 70 yards. Tennessee was going for 70 yards. But like you said, the discussion today now is on the referees, and that's never a good look.
Yeah, and obviously I wanted Purdue to win the game anyway. So, but still, that's a crappy way to go. You could say forward progress stop, but I don't.
We're chanting SEC, like all the other rubes do.
God, no. But
did the refs have any comment on it?
I thought it would be. I thought it was a little quick to go stopping the forward progress, and the Tennessee kid probably could have stuck the ball out a little bit sooner too. But yeah, that was kind of a crappy ending to a really good bowl game last night.
I get if you say forward progress is stopped, but forward progress is not stopped 2 seconds before the damn whistle blows, right?
Yeah, he was late with the whistle. It was almost like he was trying to explain. It was almost like he was trying to explain the stoppage of play without blowing his whistle. Like,
it's almost like he was trying to explain that he took Purdue +7 without saying it.
Yeah.
Did they make any comments?
This is the same garbage head ref that was in charge of the Miami Duke game back in 2015, 2016, wherever it was, where Miami had that 8 lateral touchdown, and they went back and reviewed it, and the guy's knee was down, and they did not overturn it, and Duke got screwed. That entire crew, including another guy who was on last night, screwed the back judge, were suspended after that. And what the hell are they doing on the same team? First of all, how is that guy still a head ref in the ACC? Okay. But also, what's he doing going to a ball game? I mean, it just dumbfounds me.
In Nashville. I mean, send him to the bowl game in Boise or something like that.
Right. I mean, he went to exactly. I don't know where all the ACC refs went to this year, but that was one of the bigger matchups because you've got SEC versus Big Ten, and all that aside, it was a great game until that crap.
Right.
Did the referee make an explanation or say anything, or kind of just left it as like? Was there any comments after the game? Or just...
No, he was too busy cashing out on his MGM app. You know, gambling's now legal in the state of Tennessee, so you know that's what you get there. There's no way that was across the board. How the hell can all those guys look at it and say, oh yeah? You have to say this off the jump when you're looking at that. They'll say that you're the guy in the booth looking at it. Dude, we can't let the game end like this, man. Yeah. You can't do that.
Well, that was the problem. It couldn't be reviewed. That was the problem. Like you can't review forward progress as far as you can review a spot of the ball.
You can.
You can review the spot of the ball, but you can't review when the point of forward progress is stopped. That's a judgment call on the field. So as it might change by next year, but you can't get to review that.
But if you're going to have forward progress, you can't call it until after the damn whistle. I mean, until the whistle blows, and the whistle blew a good 2 seconds after the ball came across.
But that's the other thing too. It's not on the whistle. It's on it's on the side judge's mark, and that's what the announcers kept missing last night. Like the whistle signals the end of play, but when the referee steps in, puts his foot down, marks it, and then blows his whistle, it's off the foot mark. It's not off the blowing of the whistle. So it's like it's a weird thing. I think the call sucked. Like, don't get me wrong.
They blew that, and they blew the replay across.
Oh, that was terrible.
I mean, it was. I must have seen 17 people share the rule that you can challenge the.
You can challenge a spot. You can't challenge where the end of forward progress is determined because it's not determined by a whistle. It's determined by the mark. But
that's kind of
I'm with you. Like, hopefully they'll change it by next year. It's dumb. There's some other dumb rules that need to be changed by the end of next year, like faking injuries and stuff like that. But it just letter of the rule or whatever. That's what it was determined to be for last night. And Football Zebras is a good follow on Twitter. They typically do side with the refs a lot of times when maybe they shouldn't, but they did a really good job of explaining that last night. And they're a good follow on Twitter anyway.
Clicking sound, but if you can quit, that'd be great. It's been going on for about 30 seconds.
There's also one thing I don't know about. It's the timeouts when you don't have timeouts anymore and players get injured. I'm really sick of people. It looked like there was just people laying all over the field for Purdue yesterday too, getting their timeouts.
Going on.
I know it's been going on for a long time, but it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's at least been going on for 10 years. I would say, Tony, wouldn't you say it's been an issue for about 7 or 8 years?
Yeah, it's the what was it? The Saban Malzahn rule back when Malzahn was at Auburn as offensive coordinator. And that's why you have the extra center official now for substitutions and stuff like that. But it got to the point where guys were just falling down just so you can have the opportunity to make a substitution. There was a bowl game a week ago or so that we won't mention that where a guy 20.
All right, Tony, it is definitely you that's clicking. I don't know what's causing the clicking, but it's almost like you're adjusting something.
Is there anything that could be I heard a little too, but is there anything that could be done? Like, what could they do?
Are you hard of hearing over there?
Well, no. Come on. It's New Year. I've blended 2021, but in reality, is there anything they can do for that? Like, is there a change? Like anything?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that you would have to make it where if a guy goes down, make it longer than one play that he comes out. The problem with that is, and I'll let Tony chime in on this, if you do that, then you're hurting the guy. Like, how far does that rule go? Because we all know the rule is that if the helmet comes off, you have to come out of the game. Okay, right. So but let's say you just say it's an injury. What if it's something goofy like your shoe comes off and you have to run out of the game? So I think that's the only way you could do it, is if you made it longer than one play. Is too long enough to be able to stop the nonsense? I don't know, because Purdue was doing it because they were getting ran out of the building.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't know what the answer is, because if you overcorrect it, then you're going to come into a situation. So what would be fair to make it legit? 1 play, 2 play, 3 plays? I don't know.
Yeah. And there is a circumstance it does happen. Like sometimes these guys, they actually do cramp up. Now, I would say the other night that wasn't the case. And like I said, there was a game about a week ago where 30 yards from the line of scrimmage, a defensive back might have just fallen down out of nowhere just to get a TV timeout. But what do I know on stuff like that? But yeah, it is kind of a catch-22, because you can't have a guy cramping, between plays. But I'm kind of with you. Maybe it should get to where it's 2 plays. Then you got something else to keep track of, but still, maybe that's the best way to do it.
Then you're literally gonna have to hire a guy to be paying attention to that.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna have more refs than players at some point.
Hey, if it creates more jobs, what the hell? Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking it's got to at least be 2, probably closer to 3.
I like that.
Or maybe, or hell, I mean, I don't want to say a possession, because a possession could be very long. A guy could get banged up, legitimately banged up, and it's a 12 or 14 play possession, and it's your nose tackle, and you're trying to get him back in the game, right?
Yeah. So, I think too, it used to be where guys were kind of told, hey, hobble off if you can, and we'll get the next guy out there. But now it's like, if anything's wrong, just take a knee, fall down, and we'll either get a TV timeout or we'll get somebody out there and give us time to figure out who's coming in from the sideline.
Right. And look, I went to a Florida State, trying to remember who the hell they played. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. It was when Willie Taggart's it was Willie Taggart's first year, whatever year that was.
Mm-hmm.
And we went and watched Florida State play. It was a bozo team that FSU only beat by like 10 points because it was Willie Taggart. And every other play, it seemed like the same 2 or 3 guys were falling down. And it got to the point where it was an absolute clown show. But that's not the first time I remember seeing it, because I remember when I saw it, people I was in the stands with were raising hell about it. And I can't remember what it was, but there was a game the week before that the teams were doing the same thing. And I was like, man, this is exactly what went on in, such and such game. I don't know if they're ever going to do anything about it, because they're more worried about putting someone in, I think what they're worried about it is someone going out there and legitimately being hurt and trying to play through it. But I think 2 bare minimum, but I'm really more towards 3, because if you come out for 3 plays, that's a long time in today's college football.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Moving on from that, the college football playoffs have arrived. Alabama leads 17-3 at the half. Anyone give Cincinnati a chance of covering the spread? Because I don't think they're going to win the game. But will they cover the spread? The spread was 14. So right now they're covering. Are they going to hold on? Are they going to surpass this? Joey, I'll start with you.
I just don't think so. I didn't think before today that they would, even though I'm rooting for Cincinnati. I'm hoping they make a comeback here. But honestly, if they didn't get any explosive plays in the first half, they weren't saving them just for the second half. I don't think they're going to be able to empty out some game plan where they're going to create some points. And Bama's not going to lay over and not score. They're at least putting up 30. So if they put up 30, that means Cincinnati needs at the minimum to put up 16, 17, wherever you may have. I don't like their odds to do it.
Tony, what say you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that touchdown for Alabama right before halftime was huge. And I know Cincinnati gets the ball right before kickoff or I'm sorry, right at the beginning of the second half. If they could do something on that drive, they've got a chance. But I think they're going to punt. Bama will score again. All of a sudden, it's 24-3. You've made Cincinnati one-dimensional, which Cincinnati's not comfortable doing that. They've got a really good running back, and the quarterback's decent, but he's not going to be good when he has to throw the ball 45 times. So I think Bama's going to run away with this one.
For once, the Bear had an actual good pick. He picked the under for the team total for Cincinnati, which was 22.5. And he's looking really good on that. And I hadn't even looked at the team totals until he mentioned it this morning. I went over, looked at it, and I went ahead and grabbed it. But my whole thing was you're going to tell me, because if you're going to score 22.5 points, that means you're going to need 3 touchdowns and a field goal, right? Yeah. Realistically. You're going to tell me that Cincinnati is going to march down the field 3 times against that Alabama defense and then also add a field goal? I just don't see 17 is the very most I think they could have scored. So they would have to shut out Alabama the rest of the way to win this damn thing. And I don't think that's going to happen. And so Alabama goes out there, puts 7 to 10 points, and the win is there. The question is, do they cover? Because that's what we really care about. Who gives a damn about who wins this game? Who covers the game? I teased this game down, so Alabama's got to win by just over a touchdown or more. And then I bounced that off to the next game, Michigan versus Georgia. And that line, the last time I looked, I don't know if it's changed, but it was 7.5 earlier today. And I teased that up, but 7.5. Does this feel like a trick where they're trying to get the public to bet on Michigan because they can stay within a touchdown and then Georgia blows them out? Or is that just incredibly too many points to be giving Michigan? Joey, I'll start with you.
And to confirm, it is still 7.5. I'm all over Michigan on this one. I know Georgia was the best team in the country until the SEC championship game, and they still might be the best team in the country because you could lose once and have a game like that. They were up big early in that Bama game. But to me, this Michigan team just seems different. Once Harbaugh got over that Ohio State, where he was winless, I think that broke wonders for them, and I think that defense is going to step up to play. I also don't think Georgia's offense is going to go barnyard crazy on a pretty good Michigan D. I don't know if we know about Michigan's corner yet. He was questionable coming into the day. Harbaugh was kind of weird about it, as he always is with Dixie, but I'm going Michigan.
Tony, what say you?
I'm rooting for Michigan. I think Georgia wins by 10 or so. I think that's going to end up being kind of like a 31-21 kind of game. I just think Georgia will make a couple more plays. The key for Michigan is going to be if they can somewhat stop Georgia's running game, but also cover the tight end for Georgia, who's become quite the weapon this season, and then he's been borderline unstoppable, and he's only a freshman. So I just think Michigan's defense has this work cut out for him. I like Georgia 31-21. I think they cover, but obviously go Michigan.
I think Michigan – Georgia is going to be a very low scoring game. So first of all, I'm all over the under, but also this feels like a 1 possession game. This feels like a game where the first 1 to 17 wins this damn thing. And I'm just basically saying that because I don't think either quarterback is extraordinary. I don't think they have the playmakers that you need, nor the guy to get it to them on the outside. So this game's going to be one in between the trenches. Michigan's a tough, hard-nosed football team, but I do believe Georgia has a little more talent, and they'll find a way to bully their way into the W. But man, little things like turnovers, little things like field position, they're going to matter in this game. Yeah. And Georgia's got to be able to look. Can their quarterback lead them to the national title game? Because this game might come down to him making 3 or 4 big plays across the board, and can he do it?
Yeah, we got chaos here, so I'm going to let you go. We got the baby crying, we got the dog going out. So I just want to pop in. Thanks for letting me hang out for a little bit. Go Blue, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year, bud.
Happy New Year.
This would be a good time for us to go ahead and take that commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk the NFL. Real quick, Joey, give me a score on tonight's game. I got Georgia winning this game 17-14.
And I'm going to go lower scoring as well, but I'm going Michigan 21, Georgia 17.
I hope you're right. That's who I'm pulling for. I'm pulling for Michigan, but I don't, because
it's a little scary. I know.
I want to see something different. I'm so tired of the same old, and we know we're going to get Bama. So unfortunately, I would have loved to have seen what Oklahoma State could have done against Bama. Dude, plant your leg and dive. Quit diving for the pylon, pansy. All right, we'll be back in a flash here. We'll get into NFL Week 17.
This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon.
The Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live. We're covering the NHL all the way through the Stanley Cup playoffs. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
6 rounds. TJ Hoshimazode. Yes. Lock it up. Who? What? TJ, how's vanilla? All right. TJ, who's your mama?
You mean TJ Hushmanzada from the Bengals?
Put him on the board. Hoshimazoli. Got it. Championship.
Make sure to join the Armchair Quarterbacks right here. We'll answer all your questions, pickups, trades, you name it. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's fantasy football time.
Get your Sunday football morning started off right with the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert, a 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over, under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football year-long in your DFS payouts. The only true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy in your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Sundays, all NFL season long.
Good morning.
Wake up, y'all. It's time to get up with the Armchair Quarterbacks. The world of sports is changing every morning. So wake up, y'all, with the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show.
Get up out of bed.
I should have gone to law school or high school.
Saturday mornings, 8:30 Eastern. Dixie Football Nation is back and better than ever. We've got Tony Agolini, Matt Carr, Tones Ariola, Bobby and Angelo, along with Mac McGee this fall. Dixie Football Nation heads to the gridiron, talking ACC, SEC, the Big Ten, and all the big games throughout the college football land. That's Dixie Football Nation, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, Saturday mornings on the Armchair Quarterback Show's YouTube channel, going live. Or catch the instant replay.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
They're bringing me back.
What about your fact-checking job?
Oh, here's the fact. I'm the Liz.
Good evening and Happy New Year, by God!
Woo!
Normally, I would be playing Old Lang Syne's towards the end of the show, but YouTube frowns on that, so we won't be doing it.
Did you find that out the hard way?
I'm going to get you to come back in at the end and sing it to us. We got week 17 looking at us square in the face and some big games. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed that we do not get NFL football tomorrow. And not to step on all over college football, but this is another reason why the playoffs should have been played on New Year's Day and not New Year's Eve. Tomorrow's games are duds.
Is there a reason why they put it today? Or just because I don't really get New Year's Eve is the party day.
Because they know the NFL won't play on New Year's Day unless it's Sunday. And so if New Year's Day next year, I believe, would fall on a Sunday, they will play the NFL will play, and then college football will probably play on Tuesday.
Gotcha.
The playoffs will probably be on Saturday because you'll still get that day off, right?
Yeah, true.
So, but the NFL just won't step on college football's toes because they don't want to tick people off. But it sucks, man. That lineup sucks tomorrow. I was looking at it. The only thing that really, even in the betting world, that really enthuses me is Ohio State's giving up 4 points tomorrow. What? I don't care if Olive's not going to play.
Me either.
Ohio State's going to boat race Utah. Utah's terrible. Well, I mean, they're not terrible, but Ohio State's very, very good. Ohio State damn near got in the college football playoffs.
Oh, and I mean, a lot of people today they could compete in that playoff if they were in it. Stroud could easily go off at any time. I'm disappointed because don't 90% of Americans just lay around on New Year's Day? Isn't that the whole point of New Year's Day, is just to sit on the couch?
Right.
You're probably a little tired from the night before and just
normally back in the day, back in the good old days, New Year's Day had very good bowl games, and now they're all trash.
Sheesh.
I mean, you got the Fiesta Bowl at 5:00. And then for whatever reason, the Sugar Bowl is not kicking off until 8:45 Eastern time. So it's not going to get over with till well after midnight. And it's Ole Miss and Baylor.
Would you have
those are fine games if I'm catching it on a Wednesday night.
This probably isn't possible, but would it have been possible to have a college playoff game today and one tomorrow, or that you can't stand?
It is. Yeah. It absolutely would have been.
I would have done that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed to that. I still think they should have put lesser games on today because it's New Year's Eve and people are going to be out partying.
Correct.
So you're expecting them to sit at home on New Year's Eve to watch the games. I'm actually going to go out. I never go out anymore. I never get to go out.
Hey, enjoy, man. You deserve it. Enjoy it, brother.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go out and catch that second game. But who the hell had today off to watch the kickoff of Alabama, Cincinnati? Maybe 30 to 40% of America.
A lot of people are scrambling like between work and just other things. People have, people are getting things together before they go out tonight. Not many people were sitting dead center at 2:30 or 3:30 your time. Sorry.
This first game would have been perfect to put on 7:30 New Year's Eve.
Yes.
It's a game that you kind of expect Alabama to win, but it would have entertained you.
Correct.
Eating drinks, right? Tomorrow's game would have been perfect for New Year's Day. You build the day up. You could have played the Sugar Bowl. You could have either played it earlier in the day or you could have just picked another night to play the Sugar Bowl. And then what's even stranger is they're going to drag the bowl season out till Tuesday night, 9 or 9:30, something like that. Tuesday
Who's going to watch?
It's Kansas State and LSU, a team that doesn't have a coach versus a team that doesn't have a program. What the hell are we talking about here?
Tuesday, come on, man. And then what kills me? We had all these days and we complained about it numerous times, but then they get these 11 o'clock games all the time, and they're these good 11 o'clock games. Houston the other day. Whoever chooses the scheduling this year, I'm sorry, you just missed it. Sorry.
Well, that's the other thing. The Gator Bowl was played today, the Tax Slayer Bowl, I guess what they call it now, but it was played today in Jacksonville at 11 a.m. Eastern on New Year's Eve. What the hell? Why? What's the rush?
There's no logic. There's no logic to that move. That's all I could say on that. Just nothing.
Those would have been perfect games to play mid to late afternoon on New Year's Eve, leading to Alabama, Cincinnati, and give us Michigan, Georgia tomorrow night. Instead, we're probably going to have two dull. I don't even care if they are competitive. I just don't care about the games. I don't care about the outcomes. Like I would have rather had an NFL game tomorrow night if we're not going to have one of the playoff games.
Do you think the college football playoff, the playoff itself, takes away from other these bowl games? Or are you just putting it strictly on the scheduling, or do you think the playoff also plays a factor?
Well, I think obviously it was going to, but if you're a college football fan and you're a football fan, you're still going to watch the bowl games that are competitive.
Correct.
As much as people bitched and moaned about it, the Danny Cannells of the world, they were all tweeting about the Music City Bowl yesterday.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Thursday at like 5:30 in the evening. That was the number one thing trending on Twitter. So what the hell are we talking about?
I guess people just like to complain, right? That's what the year 2021 was, just a bunch of complaining.
Yeah. It's just, but they need to spread them out smarter is the best word I can put. We have some of the most random games, random days. Tuesday, we had a game in the afternoon, but then we didn't have another game till 9:00 at night. So it's just random. But if we're going to have the college football plus, and they're going to expand, I don't know if it's going to be next year or if it'll be 2-3 years from now, but guarantee you by 2025 we're going to have more than 4 teams in the playoffs, because this is just getting dull as hell watching Alabama beat the living snot out of everybody. And
do you think it goes to 6 or 8?
It's an unfair platform in which to build a college team. There is no salary cap, so it's just so you're always going to have Alabama very, very dominant. You've got to give other teams a chance to get in this thing to make it fun.
6 or 8 teams if you had to go.
Yeah, I've said this a million times, but I like 7. I like 7.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep.
Because the same thing that you're seeing now in the NFL is what you would see in college football, and that is there would be the fight for number 1.
I don't mind that.
If you're going to go higher than 7, then you might as well make it 16. You might as well make it a big-ass tournament.
The Sweet 16.
I would say by the time you're an old man, it's going to be
64 and a play-in.
At least 32.
Really? You think?
By the time you're retired, it's at least 32.
Well, I hope I make it there. Thank you.
At least.
Whoo. Woo.
Now, that's assuming you don't hit the lottery in the next couple of days.
Or fall under. It's one of the other. Probably more likely on the latter.
But it's, the more they see it, the more they'll see the money coming in. This is no longer, you can no longer make this argument they used to make when I was a kid of, well, you're really interfering with these kids' grades. They don't go to class. They never did go to class.
They don't care.
They never went to class. Now with the NIL deals and whatnot, it's going to be more important to get more teams in. And eventually the players will have a union. Just that's coming in the next 10 to 15 years. I guarantee you that. And then that's going to get the expansion of the playoffs, because more of these schools are going to want to be in the playoffs for more exposure, for bigger NIL deals. Anyways, NFL Week 17. Here we go. We've got quite a bit of games. So the scenarios are through the roof right now. Now, we'll go ahead and start with your game, Raiders and Colts. Looks like you're going to get Wentz. And if he's able to play, that should be a pretty damn good ball game.
Oh, I think it really will be. The last 4 times we played the Raiders, in fact, they've all been close games. And the only one that wasn't, the Raiders actually blew us out in Indianapolis in 19. When Brissett was the starter, I was sadly there. But the Raider, Derek Carr, what he does best is he completes passes. And what is the Colts defense? Bend but don't break. You're going to see Carr getting a lot of those short pass attempts. And with both teams pretty healthy, Darren Waller is still questionable. We're going to have to wait till Sunday on that one, as he went on COVID as well. So he had a couple things that go against him this week. It's going to be a good ball game that comes down to one possession.
I love the over in that, by the way.
I love the over. I wouldn't touch the spread. I love the over, though.
44.5. Those are not two of the more dominant defenses, and they're pretty good offenses. You're talking about what it's being played out right now is they're saying Colts 26.5 to 18 is essentially what the guesstimation of the score would be. I think they both get the over on their personal spreads, but yeah, I don't think I want to touch the spread. If I do, I'm going to go with the underdog just because I'm getting points, but the over 44.5, I figure that's going to climb a couple of points. As soon as Wentz gets announced that he's going to play, that spread's going to go up to at least 47.5.
Good point.
So if you want to make the play, you better jump on it now, because if you wait too long, look out. If Wentz doesn't play and you grab that over, you might be up the creek. Because that changes the entire game plan.
It does.
Try to shorten the ball game. Another game of interest for betting purposes, should not be a close game, would be Tampa versus the Jets. Tampa is a 14-point favorite. I don't know if that's enough. The Jets are pretty damn bad.
I would take the Bucs.
And I figured that the Bucs are not going to take their foot off the gas.
Not with the way they've played lately.
They want to hit the ground running, and they want to go into the playoffs playing well. Doesn't look like they're going to get a bye. So I get it that you don't want to get guys injured, but I think Tom Brady has a good game. I think Antonio Brown has a good game. I expect Rojo to get a lot of attempts. What he does with it, who knows? But
I would go around 30 to 13 in that one. I'm thinking that's about where I'm at.
Over under kind of scares me a little bit, because what are the Jets going to be able to do offensively?
Exactly.
Falcons, Bills. The Falcons are getting 14.5.
I'm so done with the Falcons after last. I will never, ever pick them as a lock again. I was so upset by TB12 covering for Detroit last week. I'm taking Buffalo. I think Buffalo might put up 40 plus and just down some.
I kind of figure that's going to be a blowout. I really do. It's in Buffalo. I haven't seen what the weather's like, but I'm assuming it'll be at least chilly. You're talking about a dome team from the South going up into Buffalo.
30 degrees.
30. Do you see the wind?
It says partly sunny with about 15 miles an hour.
All right, so that's not too bad. But 30 degrees, Southern team that plays in a dome.
I don't like it.
Shoot, man, that's.
I barely like the Falcons when they play in their stadium.
As a kid, I was a Dolphins fan growing up in Florida, and I can remember a few times the Dolphins playing in Buffalo in late December, going into early January, and they were beat before they got off the bus. You could tell when they walked on the field they didn't want to be in that game, and they would just. I mean, you talk about half-assing it. Like they didn't get their blood going until the fourth quarter. So I have no faith in the Falcons covering that spread. Arizona getting 6 at Dallas. Man, the Cardinals better wake the hell up. That's all I know.
And I know the Colts had a good victory last week, but how many times did the Cardinals just shoot themselves in the foot? I feel like they make so many mistakes, and they have so much talent. And I know they have some injuries with Hopkins and Watt, but like you said, I don't see them winning a first round road game. I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Without D-Hop, it's going to be tough. I think they've got a good team. Now, getting James Conner back is going to be huge, because I think that is a bigger deal than what the D-Hop is. But you put the whole thing together is why they have struggled. They should be getting James Conner back this week. That's a big game for them. And it's a game they need to win to get their confidence back. I mean, this is a team that has kind of gone through the motions the last several games, and they just look. They look like a team that doesn't have. They look like an engine that doesn't have gasoline.
And you know what everyone's going to remember too? Last year, what had happened to Arizona? Not as good of a start as this year, but they started off 4 out of 5, sunk down the stretch. A lot of people are getting those bad vibes again.
You know, you've got other things going on too. Green Bay and Dallas and Tampa Bay are all fighting for and the Rams for that matter, are all fighting for that bye. Speaking of that, you've got, I guess some of the lines have been pulled on here, so I got to go to old fashioned ESPN. But do you have the Green Bay line in front of you?
Yes, I do. I have all the games up, and that one is 13 points, 42.5.
Okay. So Green Bay giving up 13. I'd say a lot of that has to do with the fact that Cousins isn't going to play.
And who is this backup? I don't mind not knowing who he is. Not much.
Well, because his actual backup is out. They're going to the third string guy, most likely Kellen Mond.
Oh, wow.
Kellen Mond was the kid.
I know him. Yeah. The other second string guy I never heard of, so maybe that's a blessing.
I'll tell you what screws you. If you're in fantasy and you've got Thielen or you've got Jefferson, do you feel comfortable starting them? I don't.
You'd have to start Jefferson though, right? Or maybe you.
I feel like you have to, but you're not going to get what you normally get out of Jefferson. So in other words, you're hoping on a championship Sunday that Jefferson's going to go off for about 8 to 10 catches and well over 100 yards. I think you hope he sneaks into the end zone. He gets 5 or 6 catches for around 60 or 70.
And Schefter might be wrong, but as of 4 hours ago, he says quarterback Sean Mannion will start.
So they're going to go with Mannion instead. Okay. Cause they got 4 guys on the roster.
They do. Some people report in Mond, as you alluded to. And then Schefter 4 hours ago said this Mannion. I don't know. Well, either way, it's not good.
Well, he's probably talked to them. So I was going off the depth chart, but I did hear this morning it could be either or. I mean, regardless, it doesn't matter who.
Not a good scenario.
It's not what you want. In 2 of my championships, the first thing I did was I looked up to say, "Oh my God, do I have Jefferson in this?" And I don't, thankfully. Now, one of the championships that I'm in that is a 2-weeker, I've got Jefferson, but I've got a pretty hefty lead, so I could probably bench Jefferson and be okay just getting it. Because my fear is you go out there, you put Jefferson out there, he gets you a goose egg because whoever the hell this guy is comes in and plays quarterbacks, ends up being trash.
Correct.
By the way, quick update: Alabama leads Cincinnati 17-6 midway through the 4th, and Alabama's got the ball. So Cincinnati took the opening drive and went down the field and kicked a field goal, and I guess Alabama's going to be punting to them now. That's all fine and dandy, but field goals is not going to be in Alabama.
I was going to say 3's not Cincinnati's friend.
Yeah, they've been inside that red zone twice. They should have came away with touchdowns if you want to beat Alabama, because you can't keep asking your defense to basically shut Bama out. Moving on from that game, where was the other one at that I've got?
Chiefs Bengals.
That's a great one. I'm a little surprised that that's not a 4:00 kickoff in like the game of the week, but it's not. It's the 1:00 kickoff.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Which sucks because that means I'm going to get the Jaguars instead.
Patriots 16-point spread.
Yeah, I'm going to get Jags Patriots here locally. Thank you very much. Awesome sauce.
Happy New Year, Mac.
Yeah. Saturday's going to suck. So the good thing is Miami's playing the Titans, and I've got a way to get the city of Miami's feed.
Oh, nice. So that's good.
it'll be uncomfortable because I'll be sitting in the office. The only way I can get it, but I'll watch that before I sit there and watch 3.5 hours of Jaguars and Patriots. I do have the Patriots defense. So I picked up the Patriots defense a long time ago, eyeballing that particular weekend.
That could be exciting for you.
And then I also picked up San Francisco's defense, eyeing the fact that they were playing Houston this weekend. Chiefs Bengals, though, that's a big game. I really hope Bengals come through there. Being a Titans fan, I need the Chiefs to lose a game. If the Chiefs lose a game, we're in the driver's seat for the first round bye. And boy, could we use it. Because you get an extra week that gives you a better chance of Derrick Henry making the field. And I think the NFL is just happier if that happens, right?
I mean, I think that, well, I'm not going to fully agree with you because you already crapped on my Colts, and I'm sure you'll do it again before the show ends. But the Titans, on all honesty, don't you think if they make it to the Super Bowl, they got to have a Derrick Henry in the backfield? That's just as simple as that, right? Or could they make it without him?
I don't even know if we're making it out of the first round without Derrick Henry, to be honest with you. Those other guys can play well, but I don't know if it's well enough considering how good the AFC is this year. Like if you're in the NFC, you might luck into playing the Eagles or the Saints or something first round. We could beat them, right? But if we end up in the playoffs first round, let's say we don't get the bye, and I don't think we would play the Colts, but let's say if we ended up playing, just take a team for even his team with so many.
New England, maybe.
Well, New England would be very dangerous, but I was thinking even a team with a lot of holes in it like Baltimore. If Baltimore's healthy and we don't have Derrick Henry, it's going to be a struggle. Let's go ahead and get our picks in. What are your picks against the spread this week?
You want me to just give you one for now or give you a couple?
Go ahead and give me one, come back to me, and then give me your last two because we're going to run out of time.
All right. I'm going to go with Tennessee off the bat, actually. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Dolphins, and I know the Dolphins are hot. I know they won 7 in a row after losing 7 in a row, but they haven't played too tough of a schedule, and I think it finally catches up with them. Tennessee at home, they prevailed in the second half last week against a good San Francisco team. I think the hot streak continues. I'm going to take the Titans, giving up the 3.5.
I am going to go with, I want to see if there is a line on this on the there is a line. The Jacksonville Jaguars, 14.5 is the team total. I'm going under. I don't think they reach 14.5 points against the New England Patriots. Because I think this is a game where New England's going to want to put the pedal down.
Yes.
And they're going to get some confidence in Mac Jones. They're going to run the ball, but I guarantee you Mac Jones, I don't know what, I'm assuming the prop is 1.5. I guarantee you Mac Jones throws 2 touchdowns this weekend.
I would be on that. Yes.
He is, well, they don't have him out yet on this site. They always wait till the last dog is dead, but he is good. His over under on touchdowns is probably 1.5. Take Mac Jones in the over because they're going to use play action. They're going to torch the Jacksonville secondary, and Jacksonville's going to turn some day. You think Trevor Lawrence looks bad? Wait till he goes up against Bill Belichick. 9 guys blitz from 7 different sides. That dude's going to be on the flight home. He's going to be freaking crying in his sleep. What are your other 2 picks?
My other 2, I'll make them quick. Buffalo Bills minus 14.5. I'm over Atlanta. I'm done with them. They don't deserve a playoff. That's all I can say. And then I'm going to actually take the Chiefs. I'm going to be rooting for Cincinnati. But I think they're too, up and down. Even though they're 9-6, they've had some bad losses. Their defense isn't very good. I think the Chiefs cover that one.
So that line's at 4.5. You want to talk about funny? The other day I was watching one of those ESPN morning shows. I don't remember which one. And Bart Scott was on. I think it was Get Up. But Bart Scott was on. And he raised $300 worth of hell about Joe Burrow bragging about beating the Ravens. And, I wish I had the clip to do it justice. because I didn't see the whole thing until the other morning. He was very, very arrogant about it. And Bart Scott was talking about putting a head out on him.
Oh my! What is this bounty game?
Red dot. He goes. We red dotting him, and they're like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "Everyone knows what that means. We red dotting him."
Stay at home, Bart Scott.
Bart Scott played for the Jets. He played for that dude's a Raven. He believes purple, and he took it offensively, and he kept saying that Joe Burrow wasn't going to be in the league for 5 years from now because the Ravens were going to.
Oh God! Well, he might get a little fine from ESPN.
Real quick, your thoughts on John Madden and your walk off.
Man, yeah, a couple of things. I want to give kudos to, John Madden, not only the video game, not only the announcer and the coach, just a great human being. The documentary is absolutely a must watch. I watched it on FS1 the other day. I also want to give a shout out to Jeff Dickerson, Bears reporter in the Chicago area. Mac, I know you tweeted about it as well. One of the best people in the business for covering the Bears. And they raised $1 million now for his son because unfortunately Jeff lost his wife a couple of years ago too. Just a heartbreaking story. And my heart's out to the family.
Yeah, that's amazing that they've gotten $1 million raised for that kid.
Right. And in 4 days, and the goal was 100,000. Jim Irsay, 25,000, Bears, 25,000, a lot of other teams. It was just really good to see.
There were some of them. I think it was like the Blackhawks gave 5,000. Yeah. You cheap bastard, 5,000.
That's what we were saying about the Blackhawks.
You either don't give any money, or you load the truck up. You're the Chicago Blackhawks, right? $5,000. You'll make that popcorn by the first period at your next home game, assuming Lightfoot lets people in the stadium.
Have a good New Year, Mac and Matt as well. Have a good New Year. Be safe, all, and have a good rest of your show. I'll be watching.
All right, brother. We're going to be right back here in a flash as Matt Carr joins us as we keep trucking along. We're just 6 hours from New Year's. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
Now, does anybody in here have a valid reason for leaving this classroom? Timothy.
I got to go pick up my daughter.
You're excused.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. Left for dead. I've been plagued by refusals.
Woo, doggy! How the hell are you, Matt Carr? Hold on, let me kill this. What'd you say?
I said, Happy New Year's, brother. What's going on?
Well, Alabama's kicking the crap out of Cincinnati. Just an update for that for everyone that's riding down the road wanting to know. It is, well, as soon as I said that, I just jinxed the Tide. So if you're an Alabama fan, you can send all your hate mail to Matthew Carr at what's your what's your address again?
What's funny is my email is one you set up for me like 16 years ago for fantasy football. It's Croc12313.
Is that your only email?
No, that's mine. But honestly, that's the one I use a lot.
It wouldn't have shocked me. Yeah, dude.
I have my work email, so I got some things in fire.
Well, Cincinnati just picked off a pass from Bryce Young. And look, I have said this all along. Cincinnati sent pressure. Bryce Young threw off his back foot through interception. Bryce Young, they act like he's just this unstoppable force. Georgia lost that game because they kept sending 3 and 4 guys because they were arrogant and thought that they could get pressure on Bryce Young with 3 or 4 guys. I guarantee if they replay each other, assuming it's not Michigan, Georgia's going to bring the house against Bryce Young because the first way did not work. The one thing I think that was lost on a lot of people who don't watch Cincinnati football, they do have 2 really good defensive backs, 2 guys that are going to play on Sunday, 2 guys that would start anywhere in the country. But
yeah,
the question,
30 seniors or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, the biggest question with Cincinnati, this would have first been a good time for old boy to leave this job. I'd getting the hell out of there, man. I'd have been booking to somewhere that wasn't Cincinnati if I were him. But they've got some very good players. Where they miss out on beating Bama it's the interior play, it's the interior line play and the depth. Even if you've got some guys that can go head to head, you're not going to be able to do it in the fourth quarter. And as I say that, Cincinnati gets sacked. Before we get into anything, I did want to get your take on that Music City Bowl because I'm sure you've been surrounded by that talk today. What a garbage ass play.
Last night, the last play, I think Forward Progress did stop it, but that's a bad way to end any game. I don't care what game it is. It's just let them play and let them play.
I'm going to die on this hill. I feel like if that whistle hasn't blown, don't tell me that Forward Progress has stopped.
Right.
And that whistle did not blow till almost 2 seconds after the ball crossed the goal line. So if you are convinced Forward Progress has stopped, you've got a whistle, blow the damn whistle. And then when they go to hit the replay, they all can hear it, right?
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with the whole damn thing.
I've not watched a lot of bowl games, but that was the most.
That's the best one so far.
Yeah, like he was saying, it's like every time you look up, it was like Tennessee was scoring or somebody was scoring. It was going down scoring. It was a good game for college football.
That's the best game, and it wasn't even close to like. I couldn't even tell you what the second best game has been.
Right.
Because that game has been so much better than anything else. What sucks about it, even for Purdue fans, I know they got the win. It's going to be remembered by the ref's blown call and not how the game ended.
Right.
Or excuse me, not who actually won the game. It's going to be remembered for the blown call.
I think the next game is going to top that game, but just in a defensive more style than the offensive was last night. I think the next game is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
By the way, if people miss it, Wake Forest pounded Rutgers, no shock there. But Central Michigan came in and upset Washington State. Central Michigan was a last-minute addition. Washington State was supposed to play Miami. Miami got COVID. Central Michigan got pushed into there about 6 days ago, and they go in and beat Washington State.
I was assuming watching that game, the Rutgers. I thought they were a playing game too because they're 5-7. I thought they were going to be one of the extra teams.
You know, I'm looking at all the other bowl scores. I think the other game that I would say was probably number 2 so far is probably the Northern Illinois Coastal Carolina one.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good game. But man, the rest of them, I think the rest of them been duds. Tell you what else was a dud was that damn the website that I picked to run our college football pool.
Terrible. That is the worst.
Bunch of dirty bastards. So we started this thing where we're all going to go out there and pick our players and have fun with it. And after 4 or 5 games, would you say it was? I get a text from Matt, and he says, "Hey," he'd be basically saying like it's on me, like I got to fix something. So I go to the damn website, and it's telling me, "Oh, well, the first 3 or 4 are free. Now, if you want to continue to play, you got to come out there $25 or whatever the hell it was." I was like, "That's about as dirty," because that was not on the website when I was signing up. There was no, "Hey, by the way." Anyways, and I'm hoping ESPN gets their act together and brings theirs back next year, because I enjoy doing those, but I'm not going to pay money to just, have something fun. I mean, if that's the case, we're just going to do it old school. Me and you'll go hide in the office and, pick our NIT I get. Madden. Just want to get your thoughts on Madden. As far as, so you're definitely old enough to remember as a broadcaster. It's so funny because when I think about Madden, there is a generation that over anything else remembers him as the Raiders head coach, and then secondary as a broadcaster. And then there's a generation like me who remembers him primarily as the broadcaster, and then also the guy that came up with the video game. And I'd say you're in that same bracket too.
He was tough acting to acting. He was the guy that drew on the. That's why I first remember him drawing on the screen.
Yeah,
when he was broadcasting, that was the first memory I have of that. I mean, I'm sure that happened before, but I just remember him doing that. Obviously, the Thanksgiving Day, the turkey legs and all that.
But before he was even a big name broadcaster, and he was broadcasting at that point, but he wasn't viewed upon as one of the elites. I think my first memory of him was the Miller Lite commercials he would do, where he would just come busting in through like a piece of paper or go boom, and he'd have a Miller Lite in his hand, and he'd just start rambling. And the next thing you know, he was the guy for CBS.
Yeah.
That was early 80s.
And honestly, he was great. Honestly, I didn't know. When they said he died, I thought he had already passed away. So that is on me.
Well, I had just watched his documentary that came out Saturday.
Right.
And so I was very aware that, he was alive. Plus I figured I would remember him passing because he's such an iconic figure. And I remember watching that and watching. So if you haven't seen that, you've got to see it. But
yeah,
watching him watch some things through his eyes was really cool because you could tell it got to him. Right. I was like, well, that is so cool that he got to do that, because so many guys don't know how appreciated they are. And then so I watched that on Sunday. It came out Saturday. I didn't get a chance to watch it live. I watched it on Sunday. And then what was it? Was it Monday or Tuesday that he passed? Yeah. My God, I just had that thought of how lucky he was, and then he just drops dead. And so, what sucks is that we always say, well, this just reminds us that we need to tell our loved ones how much we love them and how much we appreciate people and what they do and whatnot. And then we don't freaking do it. And then the next guy drops dead. And then we say the same damn thing. And then the next guy drops dead.
Are you wanting me to tell you I love you and I appreciate what you do?
No, man, I want to tell you that I appreciate everything you've ever done, whether you know it or not.
I love you, man.
I'm trying to think of what you've done, but it's appreciated. No, I'm talking about guys that are worthy of it, not me and you. I'm talking about guys that are worthy of it. Gals are worthy of it. When I saw it, the people I thought of were not just coaches and not just broadcasters, but I was also thinking of singers and whatnot. I was like, I wonder how many of these damn singers have no idea how much that they touch people's lives. And then they dropped dead and was like, oh man, I wish I would have told them. It's like, well, there's nothing stopping you from telling them before.
Right.
By the way, as far as I know, those are fireworks going off in the background. We will see. Our new puppy, by the way, brand new to obviously living here on New Year's Eve, and our neighbors start shooting off fireworks early. I feel like it's earlier every damn year. But anyways, moving on. But my point was that I was trying to finish. And then there is an entire generation who don't know any of that. Guys like Bobby, who the only thing they realistically know of him is his video game.
Right.
Because Bobby's what is he? Maybe 20 years old right now.
He turns 19 next January. In January, he turns 19 next month.
Okay, so he was born in 02. I think Madden quit broadcasting as either 07 or 08. So he's obviously not old enough to realistically remember him broadcasting. Right. So it's just wild that a guy can be out of broadcasting that long, be out of coaching football that long, but yet he has just as big of an impact on Bobby's generation as he did my generation, your generation, the boomers generations, because of the video game that has become iconic.
And will that continue to always be Madden, I would assume?
Yeah. I guarantee you that's a brand, that's a franchise. His family probably owns it. I would think what they're going to do is just keep that logo that you saw at the documentary. They'll probably have that logo somewhere, call it Madden, blah, blah, blah. And because he hasn't broadcasted on it in years, right?
I don't think I haven't played it in a couple of years. I ain't played it since probably 16, 17.
But even then it wasn't him, was it? Wasn't it like Al Michaels or is it
Al
Michaels and Chris?
Might have been Collinsworth, actually.
Yeah. So he hasn't done any of the heavy lifting. What I like the most about that documentary was him talking about when they went in to develop the video game, and I don't remember the bytes and terabytes and all that stuff, but the computer game geeks were explaining to him that because of so many players on the field, it wasn't going to move as fast. For it to move faster, if they just eliminated some of the linemen, that the game would actually move much faster. And he put his foot down. He said, if we're not playing 11 on 11, then we're not playing football, and I'm not putting my name associated with it. And so they figured out a way to put all 11 on there. And though it might have been a little slower than what it could have been, he was proud about the fact that it was representative of,
right. Which is what they did on Tecmo Bowl, I think, because Tecmo Bowl was right before all that, and they had less than 11 on 11, and it was faster.
Yeah, I don't even know how many players were on the field at Tecmo Bowl, but I'm gonna guess. Well, also the players in Tecmo Bowl, they were doing less too, right? Like they were just kind of ramming into each other, whereas I swear, I don't know if you can hear that, but I feel like I'm doing this show in Tel Aviv. I mean, there are bombs going off all around me. I don't know if you can hear it or not.
I can't, but it is 6 o'clock in Jacksonville. So.
Yes, it is 6 o'clock in the hood, man. We are rocking and rolling. Let's go ahead and get into NFL Week 17. You got some picks for me?
I'm going to take all just the points, or not the points. Just, I think straight up wins. I think Cowboys beat Arizona. I'm not sure. It was probably 3 points. I think it was
6.
It's 6. I still stay straight up. They win that. Titans at the Dolphins. These are a bunch of homer picks, but I believe in it. I think the Titans win outright. And then
that's 3.5.
And then Green Bay outright.
Okay, Green Bay is 13.
Yeah, Cousins is gone. I'm not saying Cousins is the best quarterback, but that's going to be a big hit. And I'm not even sure if Cook's back yet.
He's supposed to be. Now we'll see what happens, but he's supposed to be back. All right, so the first. I took Jacksonville's team total. I took the under. I'm going to pick one more, and then I'll pick another one on the final segment. I'm going to go with, let's see here.
There's a lot of big spread. There's not a lot of close games this week.
You tend to get that later and later in the season. If I knew what Lamar Jackson was doing, the Ravens getting 5.5 is very tempting. I know the Rams have been playing well, West Coast, East Coast. It's very, very tempting. I'll go ahead. You know what? Screw it. I'll go ahead and take that as one of my games. Baltimore plus 5.5. I don't think they're very good, but I also think 1 o'clock kickoff for a Los Angeles team can suck. And you can wake up on Sunday, it's 10 a.m. local time for the Rams. So by the time you get the cobwebs out, you're down 14-0, and then you're scraping by just trying to get the W.
Didn't you run your numbers East Coast, West Coast? That was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone West Coast, East Coast. So it's much more successful when it's the East Coast team on an early kickoff. It's money if they played on Monday. If that West Coast team's played on Monday, you can go ahead and book it. I think I've got like a 75% win rate on that. But usually it's about a 60-65% win rate. If you pick the right ones. There's certain ones I won't touch, right? If it's like, the Jaguars are hosting the Chiefs, well, screw that. That philosophy's out the window because Jaguars are not a real NFL team at this point. But if there was one the other week, and I'm trying to remember if it was today. So I want to say it was last week, and it was it wasn't it might take me forever to figure it out. But there was a game within the last couple of weeks that fell right in that wheelhouse where it was a West Coast team, and they played on the Rams Tuesday. Anyways, it'll take me forever to figure it out. But there was a West Coast team that played on a Monday night. Oh, there it is. Cardinals versus Lions. Remember when the Cardinals got blown out in Detroit?
Yeah.
It was like, what the hell happened? What the hell? It was a West Coast team going east after playing on a Monday night. And they had lost their best player. And they were like a 14-point favorite. Dude, I pushed my chips in on that.
You're not
take the Lions. What are you, stupid? No, it works. There's another great theory that I have that is panned out, and I'm going to share with everyone next year because it's a college football theory, but you have to hit it at the beginning of the season. And it has gotten very, very good track record.
I don't think you can say variant nowadays.
Huh?
I don't think you can say variant nowadays.
Very, very good track record. Not variant. It's not a variant track record. It's a very good track record. By the way, Alabama's about to pound the ball into the end zone again. They're up 17-6. They're about to take a 24-6 lead, and that'll put that game out of reach. All right, other games of interest on the docket that I haven't got into yet. And first of all, we'll talk Colts Raiders more in the next segment because Doug's supposed to be with us. And of course, he's a big Raiders fan. Joey's a Colts fan. We talked. I think the Raiders have a puncher's chance in this. Even if Wentz plays, I think they've got a puncher's chance. My biggest concern is the Raiders' run defense trying to stop Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, I didn't hit him in my draft this year because I just didn't believe him at all. But he's going to be a top 2 pick next year. He'll be above McCaffrey next year, I would assume.
I think he'll be number 1, don't you?
Yeah, he's got to be. He's the beast, man.
Because Henry's going to be coming off of injury, so everyone's freaking out about that. CMC cannot stay healthy. By the way, Alabama just punched it in, so they're up. They're about to be up 24-6. I think fantasy football wise, he's going to be the number 1 consensus pick overall. Yeah. Here's an argument that I had with a guy who does a lot of fantasy football stuff and has a big following. He and I kind of went back and forth, and I'm going to die on this hill. He's got his fantasy tight end rankings, okay, for Dynasty for next year already out, okay, which is a little insane because you never know if there's going to be certain things that are going to, change, but he's doing it for, for his content and whatnot. And he's looking at 2022, your top 10, or actually he's got 12. He put his top 12 guys out there, and he put thoughts. He has Kyle Pitts number 1, and that was the one that I banged him on. Because he's asking for your thoughts, and I said, look, Pitts is way too high. Way too high. Number 1? I don't care if it is a dynasty. Number 1? Because if you're drafting Pitts number 1 tight end next year, what you're saying is I don't plan on winning next year. I'm building for when the Atlanta Falcons find a way to get a better quarterback and maybe get what's his name, Ridley, out of the insane asylum or wherever the hell he is.
He's no Kyrie, yeah.
Kyle Pitts has been trash. I've got him in like 3 or 4 leagues. He's been trash.
I thought you were going to say Pitts would be number 1 because you talk so highly. When I tried to trade you him, you talk so highly of him.
You can't put him at number 1 at this stage in the season. Beginning of this past season, you had him at number 1. I couldn't argue with you because you'd be wanting, it would obviously all be off of projections, but the sky was the limit. And he started to take off about midway through the season, and then Ridley stepped down, and it was Dunsville.
Yeah.
But you're going to tell me that you're going to have him ranked over Mark Andrews, who's still very young, George Kittle, Kelsey, Darren Waller. He's got Darren Waller below Hawkinson and Goddard. Dude, Darren Waller's a beast.
I still think Ertz is better than Goddard.
What's that?
I think Ertz is better than Goddard.
Yeah, I don't think he's ranked. Well, he's not ranked in his top 10 or top 12. I think that's just because how many looks he'll get going into next season when there is a healthy D-Hop. And then also Ertz is a little older. But those were the 2 that I banged him on, is the fact that Pitts is way too high, and I feel Waller's too low. Darren Waller's got to be in your top 5. It's got to be in your top 5. You're going to tell me that you're going to draft Goddard or Hawkinson over Darren Waller and what his potential is when he's healthy and Derek Carr healthy? Dude, the guy gets like 12 to 14 targets a game. It's insane. Absolutely nuts. Anyways, I just had to get that off because he's got, to your point about Ertz, he's got guys like Noah Fant, Gesicki, Freiermuth on his. You're going to keep Freiermuth. What happens when Ben Roethlisberger retires? You have Dwayne Haskins out there chucking the ball to your tight end. Okay. So we kind of went back and forth. He said, so I'm obviously not going to change my position. I said, well, this is just what I said, to each his own. Really comes down to your philosophy, and I'm always win now and not building that for a championship 3 years from now.
Hate it.
We have a guy that's in one of our baseball leagues, and I've called him wait till next year as long as he's been in it. He always has a team that you think is like, that team could be pretty good in a couple of years from now. No matter what and we've been doing this league for 7 years. He's always got the team that you're like, that team would be pretty good a couple of years from now. I guess it's better than having,
I hang out with.
I guess it's better than having like, the 2017 All-Star team. There's guys that do that too. You're like, dude, what year were you drafting off of, man? We're coming up on time. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Man, I hope I better go get the smoker. The smoker's going right now. But throw some wings on. Do what you're doing right there. And just we're chilling at the house tonight, man.
Wings. Remember when your life was fun and we would just grab $20 and hit Dirty Gems for
a hot dog?
Yeah, here's some free hot dogs and blackout. Let's go.
Well, now I'm in my 1.5-year-old's room doing a podcast. So, so times have changed.
Yes, they have, sir. Well, y'all have a happy new year. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Red Raider Doug's back. He hasn't been with us in a while, so he'll be coming back with us. We'll talk some Raiders, some Colts, and a lot more. We'll be back in a flash.
Yeah,
This is negative.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy.
Ortiz into deep right field.
Touch the ball, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bat.
Armchair.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
A lot of room in right center. If he hits one there, we can dance in the streets. The 2-1. Swung line drive left field. One run is in. Here comes Brave. Here's the throw to the plate. He is safe. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win.
Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be yep, there it is. Another flag on the play.
Multiple flags on the play. Holding. Offense number 97. That penalty was declined. Touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 22. Penalty will be applied to the kickoff.
This has got to be one of the strangest calls.
That son of a...
You playing against Dick this week? Yeah. Could be worse, man. When I played against him, he ejected all my players.
What?
Armchair.
At its heart lie mythic contradictions. A pastoral game born in crowded cities. An exhilarating democratic sport that tolerates cheating and has excluded as many as it has included. A profoundly conservative game that often manages to be years ahead of its time.
Good evening and welcome back. Wherever the hell you are, listening to us on YouTube, watch us on YouTube. We apologize for having to see us. You're listening to us. Doug and I are two really handsome men. Doug, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great. Good to be here again.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't remember the last time that you were on. I believe. Actually, I don't remember. Was it November? Or has it been longer than that?
It was in October.
Oh, okay. It was October.
Okay. Yeah, it was right at the beginning of October.
Oh, that's right. It was when we started doing all those games. That's right. Yeah. We went down. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So it's been quite a while. Since you've been on, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series.
Congratulations. That was
Thank you.
Great to say. I love that. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
And as happy as I was about that, a few days later, they went on lockout. So now we're screwed. Thank you very much, Major League Baseball.
Yes.
So, and if things work out and they get their act together and they start the season on time, my wife, her parents got me tickets to the Atlanta Braves playing the Cincinnati Reds in Atlanta.
Oh.
And it actually ends up being our anniversary on so April 9th. Problem is it's pretty early in the season, so we're all kind of worried that the season won't get started. What is your best take? Because I think it will get started in time. I think they're going to wake the hell up. I'm hearing people talking about June, July, August. This isn't COVID, okay? They can get something figured out. You have nothing else. You go out there and you bang out a 1-year deal and say, we'll revisit this again. But what is your best guess? Are you frozen? I don't believe you are moving, so go ahead and kick you out here for a second.
My best guess, I think they'll.
Doug, if you can hear me, jump out and jump back in, because all I see.
I'm here. I'm here again.
Okay.
But to answer your question,
Yeah, I literally frozen, and I was like, okay, but it was such a clear picture. I thought you were just intently listening and paying attention. I was like, that son of a gun's not even here. Okay.
I just got a picture up and just go along with the flow. No, to answer your question, I think they'll start on time. There's nothing telling me right now that they won't. So I agree with you there.
Everybody knew. I think they're freaking out because nothing got done in December, but they all said that. They all said that when we got to December, that nothing was going to get done. And once it got, was about 2 weeks ago, they said, they had like a 13-minute meeting or whatever the hell it was, got nothing done. And they were going to resume in January, which is what I expected. I figure you're going to start hearing some reports kick out. Maybe not next week because that's pretty early, but I would say the following week. You've got to get things done and get them hammered away by early to mid February. My goal is get the thing done by the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Because if you get it done by the Super Bowl, pitchers and catchers report about a week later.
Yeah.
And nothing would get messed up. If you don't, and here's the other thing. If you get it done before the Super Bowl, the whole sports world is paying attention, and that's going to be nothing but good publicity for you. What say you?
Yep. I agree. I mean, everything you said is right on line with what I've read and what they're saying right now. So but it has to be done. They can't screw around, because if not, it's gonna make baseball look bad again. Just like, the last year with COVID, or the year before, actually. They'll look ridiculous if they don't. But they seem to have a grip on it this time. I think there's a lot of panic involved too. So you got to take some of the things with a grain of salt. But I agree with you. They'll be ready this time.
I think the biggest issue is that people don't trust Manfred. And as much as they don't trust Manfred, I think they have about as that much trust in Tony Clark. But they have to know that their legacies are going to be like whatever happens here, that's going to be put on your tombstone, my man. Right? Because all the good that Bud Selig did, all he's ever remembered for is the debacle. And even though it really wasn't him at that time, right? But he was coming out of with it, is how bad Major League Baseball was viewed after the 94 strike. And I think also it tends to be the older fan that tends to make the snide comments on Twitter and whatnot. They remember 94 very clearly. But it was a totally different circumstance, and that's why I think it will get done. I also think that they know, the players know, the owners know, everyone involved knows that if you don't have the season start on time, it's going to be a very bad look for you. And you just made huge leaps and bounds where you are once again the second most popular sport in America. And it's not even close. There was a time there for about a decade or so that you could argue that the NBA was almost as popular. The numbers didn't support it, but the feel felt like it, right? But after what the NBA did during COVID and whatnot, and the riots and whatnot, Major League Baseball became more popular once again. Not starting on time would screw that up. And what's funny is no one ever talks about that hockey went on strike for a year and a half. No one ever talks about the lockouts in the NBA. But you know why they don't talk about it? It's because it's not popular. It's because people don't realistically watch. They don't watch either one of those sports until June. Did you freeze up again? I got you frozen up again, buddy. I'm going to kick you out. Call us back. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We'll wait for Doug to join us again. I think he's got some bad cell activity going on. We've got, first of all, real quick update. Alabama, they were scoring, and it looks like they got stopped, so they're going to settle for a field goal. Regardless, they're up 27-6. They're up, so that's 21 points. Why do we care about that? Because the line was 14. And if you took Bama minus 14 without buying a point or anything like that, you're on pins and needles, because you know if they give up a garbage touchdown here, you're going to push. Doug, you're back. How are you, sir? Jeez. All right, I'm going to move on. Games that are going to go on this Sunday as Doug's feed goes to come back into us. We've got Cardinals, Cowboys. We didn't get a chance to get into that much, but I believe that Carr was picking the Cowboys to win. Look, that's a big game. If Arizona does not find a way to win that game, they'll drop to 10-6. They could be 10. I think they're going to make the playoffs regardless. But when you stumble in the back end like that, you're going to get bounced quick.
Yeah, I agree, and I see Dallas winning that game. It's beat up without without DeAndre Hopkins. That offense is not the same. They're not the same they were the last time we even talked about the Cardinals. I mean, they're complete opposites of each other now. Yeah, the Cardinals.
Well, also, James Conner not being in the lineup last week really hurt them.
Yes.
Because Chase Edmonds just isn't the same kind of player. Now, another big game, Raiders Colts. It looks like that Wentz is going to be able to play. What say you on your Raiders?
I was hoping Wentz wasn't going to play. I mean, if from a betting point of view, I'd say the Colts are probably going to win this football game. But if the Raiders want to have any chance of making playoffs, they got to rise up and play a lot better than they have. I mean, they've been winning games, but the Colts are a lot better teams than the ones they played lately. They're definitely not the Broncos. So if Wentz is going to play, I'd have to give the edge to the Colts right now.
You got some scenarios going on in the let's go to the AFC. Lord, that is small as hell. I can't see that. I went to pull this thing up, and it's this long and like that wide, so the print is just small as hell. Looking at all the standings in the NFL, and you're looking at right now in the playoffs. If you're looking at the playoff scenario, the Raiders right now sit at 8-7, along with 4 other teams?
Yes.
Is the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Dolphins. Dolphins technically are the wild card team right now, but we're 2 games away from figuring out all the tiebreakers. Right now, they would win the tiebreakers, but you still got some games to play, and things can change on that end.
Yep.
The other teams, I really think that you're just looking at basically trying to get that 7th seed, don't you? Because you've got New England, who's going to play Jacksonville at home. I feel like they're going to get their win.
Yeah.
Buffalo is going to play Atlanta. They're going to get their win.
Exactly.
So the Colts, that game, that Raiders Colts game, I actually think should have been flexed, to be perfectly honest with you. That's a game that's a lot more important than what they have. They got Green Bay and Minnesota. They're just doing that as a Packer nation, and they figure people have Aaron Rodgers on their fantasy team. Colts Raiders is a lot more intriguing to me than that game. You still on the outside looking in, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Denver, but I'm saying all 3 of those teams are done. The only team I give a fighting chance to would be Cleveland, because they finished the season against Cincinnati. But they're going to have to win out, and they're going to have to get a lot of help.
Yep.
Vegas, if they win, there's a good chance that they're sitting in the catbird seat by Tuesday morning.
Yes.
Because you've got Baltimore playing the Rams. You've got the Dolphins are playing at Tennessee. And then it's not in front of me. Who are the Chargers playing?
Chargers are playing the Broncos, I think.
Okay. That's not an easy game either. I believe that game's in Los Angeles, but even still, that's not an easy game. The Broncos are one of those damn teams that, you never know what to expect. They're either going to get blown out of the building because their offense can't do anything, or you're not going to be able to stop their running game, and somehow they're going to beat you 32-10. Huge game. If Vegas finds a way to win this game, they would be sitting back, and then obviously the Colts would follow to 9-7. Vegas would be 9-7. Vegas would have the tiebreaker. If Vegas wins this game, believe it or not, they could be 5th or 6th in the AFC.
Yes. That's why this is the most important game of the year for us. Probably one of the most important games we've had in a couple of years. It all comes to me. This whole season comes down to Sunday.
And they finish the season against the Chargers. And if they win this game, I believe, no matter what the Chargers do, I believe that a Vegas Chargers game is going to get flexed to Saturday. Because for people that have missed that, after all the dust is settled, the NFL is going to pick 2 games from week 18 that's supposed to be played on Sunday, January 9th. They're going to move it to Saturday, January 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be 2 games that are important in the overall playoff picture. They're not going to pick, just a random ball game. They're going to pick 2. So there's a good chance that could be, it's going to be a 4:30 and an 8:15 kickoff is what they said, but they're not going to announce the teams until either Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a huge, huge game if the Raiders find a way to get the W. That would be an enormous game to put on. You talking about a hate rivalry, Raiders and Chargers, and you're talking about putting it on like a Saturday afternoon. You could even put them, Saturday night, depending on what the other game is. It would really come down to who has the better, who has the bigger television market. But Joey and I are planning on, by the way, bringing the Saturday afternoon game, as long as it's not like Tampa Bay, because I don't think I could keep him. I don't think I could keep him from cursing if we were to. So if it's not Tampa Bay, we're most likely going to do like the 4:30 game on Saturday or whatever next Saturday. Other big games that are going to be going on this weekend that we haven't gotten to, and whether people view them as like big games as far as like a good game or not, they are big as far as the overall picture. Now, one game we haven't really talked much about, Chiefs Bengals.
That's an intriguing game.
It is. And the Bengals are a 4.5 point underdog at home.
I think that's a mistake. I think this can be a game that Kansas City looks past. The Bengals, now last week, from a fantasy standpoint, I thought the Bengals offensively last week really put out a statement game. And I think
Joe Burrow put me in the championship game in two of our leagues.
Yep. Gotta love it.
And in one of the leagues I was going up against, where I was playing Brian, he had Joe Burrow, and I'm still beating him by 60 because it's a 2-week championship.
Yeah.
Because I happen to have Dak Prescott and a bunch of other guys that went off.
Gotcha.
But when I kept seeing it, I was like, it's good for me, but that's bad for me. This is going to be bad, man. He was bragging all over Twitter and saying, what was he saying? Who day. And then after Sunday night's game, I tagged him back in with the Jimmy Johnson. How about them Cowboys? At the half, I woke up and they won 56-14. Dak Prescott, I think he only got outscored by like maybe 10 points to Joe Burrow. When Joe Burrow throws for 400 and something yards and 5 touchdowns, whatever the hell it is, and you only get outscored by 10 points, I'm like, dude, I'll take that as a W all day long.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. But yeah, if I were Kansas City, I'd watch out because if you overlook that game, they're going to burn you off, especially offensively. You can't let up on them at all.
I'm pretty pissed off that that's not the 4:00 national game of the week. That's number one.
Yeah.
And number two, I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I know Kansas City's defense has played really well recently. They haven't really played against very good offenses.
No.
Not taking anything away from Kansas City's defense. I think they are good. But the over-under sitting at 50.5. I think it's going to pop over that.
Yeah.
And Kansas City is 4.5 point favorite, depending on what book you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if it stays there, I'm banging the Bengals all day long.
Yep.
I don't think there's a way that Kansas City escapes Cincinnati with more than like a field goal victory.
I agree. And that's if they escape at all. Because that's one of kind of my upset specials this week. I got the Bengals by a field goal. I think they can pull that game out. I think they're a lot better than people realize they are. Especially offensively.
You know, another intriguing game, you got Eagles-Washington. Washington's not very good, but the Eagles are right there in the thick of the NFL wild card race.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously not going to win the division. The division's already been sewn up by the Cowboys. But the Eagles, when you look at what they've got ahead of them, so they're playing Washington on the road, and then the final game is against the Cowboys at home. But the interesting part about this is, and I meant to bring it up to Matt. Matt and I have a friendly, a little $5 wager on how many games the Cowboys will win, right?
Mm-hmm.
He only needs one more win. And the Cowboys are at home against the Cardinals. But if the Cardinals upset them, there's even more reason for the Cowboys not to play their starters in week 17 or week 18 at Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to find their way into the playoffs.
I think so too.
I think there'll be an early exit, but I think they're going to find their way into the playoffs. One way or the other. This is a team that I believe, you look at the standings right now, they are 7th. I know that's shaky ground, but they should beat Washington.
Yeah.
And then they're going to host Dallas, and Dallas is probably going to have all their backups in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're going to flex that Dallas-Philly game, though they would like the ratings for that. I don't think it's going to matter for Dallas fans.
No.
So they're going to have to pick something. Because if Green Bay wins on Sunday, Green Bay then still holds all the cards as far as, who's going to get that final bye. So anyways, I like Philly. Look, I think San Francisco is going to find their way in to the playoffs. They play Houston at home, and then San Francisco finishes the season at the Rams, and they have owned the Rams.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact the Rams may not be having anything to play for. So if you know you're going to play the playoffs the very next week, are you going to start in your starters? Hell no, you're not.
No.
So
no.
All these scenarios are coming into play. Outside of outside the Kansas City game and outside of your Raiders game, what's the game that you're looking forward to the most this weekend?
Actually, game I'm looking for, believe it or not, it's the Titans-Miami game. The Titans game. Because a lot of people think that the Titans aren't going to win, and actually, it may not have implications, but I'm just more rooting for the Titans because it makes, I've listened to experts about this game and the pick 'em line on it. And I think the Titans they act like they're not capable of winning this game, which doesn't make any sense to me. I think the Titans are going to win that game quite handily.
Everyone's fallen in love with the Dolphins, 7-game winning streak?
Mm-hmm.
But they've beaten the Texans, the Ravens on a short week, and then Jets, Panthers, Giants, Jets, Saints. And the Saints, obviously, who didn't have a viable quarterback. because of
You know,
COVID.
I would say that Miami might win that game if we were in the very last game of the season, and you told me the Titans had everything locked up. Then that might happen just because they're not going to put their starters in. They're going to wait for playoff week. But things aren't sewn up yet, and I think the Titans are actually. I think it's going to be quite a bad loss for Miami, and it just drives me crazy.
The Titans still have a chance to get the number one bye.
That's what I'm saying, and they've had everything to fight for. So I can't see them all of a sudden lying down to Miami.
Tennessee wins. If Tennessee wins and the Bengals upset the Chiefs, the Titans are then the number one seed.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Titans, if they make it that far, if that's the scenario, the final game of the season is Titans versus Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee lost to Houston beginning by midway through the season. So they're going to be motivated for that alone, but not to mention the fact if you can get a bye, that Cincinnati Kansas City game might be one of the biggest games of the entire year, and it's kind of getting slept on because of how many implications. Because if Kansas City can win, then they play Denver the final game of the season, and I don't know where that game is at, but regardless, Kansas City should be able to beat Denver, although it's not a gimme because it's a division game. See, no, it's in Denver. Yeah. So two road games to end the season, and it's going to be cold in Denver. And Denver at that point, that's going to be their Super Bowl just to be able to knock out the Chiefs.
Yep.
Real quick, give me your thoughts on Madden and Oakland Raiders.
I was going to say I was thinking about it today, and with Madden, it comes down to a lot of people probably listening. Beverage saw him coach, and I got to see him coach. And my thoughts are, I've never seen a coach that so embodies the way the team plays. The Raiders played like John Madden was as a person. His personality, his football beliefs, his personal beliefs. You knew what he was like because his Raiders players played like that. And I've never seen it. And that, to me, from a coach point of view, is a great legacy. It wasn't the Oakland Raiders. In those years, it was Madden's Raiders. And that is one. And I've never seen a coach do that before. And I've never seen a coach like that so embodies how his team plays. And from a coach's point of view, that's how I'll always remember him.
Let me ask you this. I was talking this about with Matt a little while ago. So depending on what era you were born in, so some people think of him as a coach first, as a broadcaster first. So the younger kids are going to think of him as the video game guy first.
Exactly.
I would assume, considering your age and considering your fandom, he's a coach first to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, I just missed him coaching. When he was at the end of his coaching career, like I was too young to really grasp anything. So when he came into broadcasting is where I knew him from. And then of course you add on to the other stuff, but
exactly. I was just going to say, some people, from the coaching point of view, he coached for 10 years. He inherited a team from a coach named John Roush. The Raiders that year, I think they went 0-13. By next year, he went from 0-13 to, I believe it was 12-1 the following season, which would have been the 1969 season. That is the fastest turnaround by any NFL team. It's not been done before, and it hasn't been done since. And from that time, just to think about it, in his 10 years, he went to 7 AFC championships, won a Super Bowl. Basically, he turned that Raiders into an organization in the 70s. If you wanted to win the Super Bowl, you had to face him every year that he coached. And I've never seen a coach do that in
he
the
had
NFL.
some bad, heartbreaking losses. I mean,
yes,
he was the coach of the Immaculate Reception that it was done on, right? I mean, you talk about a bad beat. Oh, can you imagine what happened today?
But he also was the coach of the Sea of Hands, and he was the coach of the Ghost to the Post.
And the Holy Roller. He was there for the Holy Roller too.
There's one of the famous posters that I have of him. I wish I had hung it up today. Is him jumping in the air and holding his hands out when he realized that Casper has kicked it into the He's kicked it into the end zone and dropped on it, and he's halfway asking the referee, "Is that legal? Is that a touchdown?" And you see the referee's like, "Yeah, you won. Get out." Was the response from the referee.
And what's funny about that is that changed the rule. After that, fumbling on fourth down, you could not recover it after forward.
Forward, yep.
The only person that can recover it forward is the guy who fumbled it. All right, it's time to hit birthdays and some turn back time. We're going to do birthdays first, and there's a reason for that. So let's go ahead and do the birthdays first.
It's your birthday today.
All right, happy 60th. Oh, say it ain't so. Rick Aguilera. Well, yeah. The hell's going on around here? 60 years old. Yeah. Incredible pitcher. Of course, he pitched for the Mets, the Twins. Ricky Aguilera. Happy 51st birthday to Brian Russell. Remember him? He was the guy that famously got pushed off by Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. That was a damn offensive foul. Happy 50th birthday to Heath Schuler.
Heath Schuler.
The Tennessee Volunteers yesterday broke the Tennessee all-time scoring record in a season set by Heath Schuler's Volunteers. What's more impressive about that, Heath Schuler did it in one less game.
Yep.
And let's see here. I guess that's about it. Let's go ahead and hit turn back time. This one. Tell me if you remember this one, Mr. Doug, as we watch the video. This is the, let me see, doing the math right. This is the 33rd anniversary of this game.
Chicago and Philadelphia's football teams squared off for their crucial playoff battle. A blinding fog descended on Soldier Field in the middle of the game.
Oh,
the view was a thick, hazy cloud.
Any possibility of a view from the press box, our normal game coverage, is impossible.
We know we're winning, but who are we playing now?
It's impossible to see, even from here. You can't even see the screen on the TV.
Many wanted the game postponed until visibility improved, but the players were able to see about half the field, and officials ruled that was good enough.
As long as I could see and the officials could see both goalposts, why we felt the game was playable, and then we kept into that condition all the time.
The fans came not only to watch the game, but also to watch Eagles coach Buddy Ryan continue his running feud with former boss Bears coach Mike Ditka. But they couldn't even see each other. In spite of the fog, the Bears pulled off a win, proving again it's tough to beat the team with the home fog advantage. Gary Reeves, CBS News, Chicago.
How about that one? Remember
wow. Yes, I do. I actually watched that game.
I did too. Remember as a kid.
And the thing was, is TVs at the time, it made the fog twice as worse when you're watching it on a little screen.
Oh, that we didn't have HD back then. I mean, it was a absolute disaster.
Yeah, that's right. You had to go by look. That's where I learned to love Vernon Lundquist, because it was entirely up to him to tell me what was going on, because I had no idea.
What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
My walk-off today is, we were talking about John Madden and coaching and where the Raiders are now as an organization. We need to just dismantle this team, and I'm really hoping that in the offseason we hire Doug Peterson as coach, and we can rebuild this organization. That's my takeoff, thinking about coaches and the Raiders and where we are now.
My walk-off today is have a happy new year, everyone. Be safe.
Yep.
We got Georgia, Michigan coming. Hopefully this is a hell of a ball game. I think it will be. Go Wolverines. All right, Doug, we'll see you next Friday. Be safe, sir. If you are bored, the sports bar they always go to watch the ball games.
Oh, okay.
We're headed up that way here in about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right, brother.
All right, I'll see you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Friday, working stiffs. Everybody.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy weekend! Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.